Going on a cruise often requires more than the travel gear and clothing that you might pack for a cruise. In fact, experienced cruisers say that there are several just-in-case items that they would never cruise without. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I recently asked in the Life Well Cruise Facebook community, what are some of the just-in-case items that you always pack for a cruise? Now, I got some fantastic responses, and truthfully, there are some new items that will be going on my cruise packing list. Now, truthfully, a lot of these items go beyond travel gear and clothing, and in some cases, they may be items that you already have at home. One thing that I can promise is not only will some of these items make your cruise more comfortable, but they will prevent some potential mishaps. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, Ziplocs. Now, I had to start off with resealable, reusable baggies because this is an item that cruisers absolutely swear by. And you can see, by the way, I definitely reuse my Ziplocs. Now, you can bring Ziplocs or resealable bags, by the way. I'm just using that word like Kleenex. In any case, you could bring baggies so that you can take some cookies from the buffet and bring them back to your cabin. You may want to bring a baggie like this because if you go on an excursion and maybe you take off your wet bathing suit, then you have a place to put it. And of course, you could use baggies when you're packing if you're bringing some toiletries and you want to make sure that they don't leak. By the way, I do always use those bottle covers. I think they're really handy, but if you want to make sure things don't leak and you want to be sure, you could use these. Now, by the way, if you do bring any form of resealable baggie on a cruise, please share the way you use it down in the comments below. All right, moving on to something less obvious, eye drops. Now, eye drops have actually started to be, over the last few years, something that I just throw into my hanging toiletry bag. It really doesn't take a lot of room, and if you do end up needing them, it really is quite handy. Now, while we're at it, I'll show you these as well. Most cruisers bring a little something for laundry or stains just in case. Now, that can include a wrinkle release spray like this one, and you can make your own, by the way. I have a little handy tip. What you do is you take a fabric softener sheet and you just put it into one of those reusable bottles, and then you could just fill it with water once you're in your cabin. Make sure that you do get the spray bottle kind, and that will work. Now, something that I like to do is bring a Tide to go, but you could use some of the Shout wipes as well. And by the way, just to show you, I do have these clear toiletry bags. I absolutely love them. They are so handy. So if you do have cosmetics or other things, or even if you do want to put your toiletries, if you're flying, these are TSA approved, so they are perfect. Now, do any of you use glasses? Because if so, there are a lot of tips that people shared. One is bring an extra pair of reading glasses. You never know if you lose them or you break them, they are good to have. Another thing that a lot of people bring that I think is really smart is an eyeglass repair kit. And those who use contacts, many bring an extra pair. And of course, anybody that does have glasses, something that my husband does is he'll bring his regular glasses, but he brings his last pair as well, just in case. An extra phone charger. Now, cruisers know that when you're on a cruise, you are going to be using the battery on your phone much quicker than when you're at home. That is because you're going to be using the cruise line app. Of course, you're going to be taking photos, you're going to be taking videos. And let's face it, even on excursions, you're probably using your phone much more than you regularly would. Now, these days, this is a portable charger that I bring. I like the fact that it does have these cables included. Now, by the way, any of the items that I do show you in this video, I am going to have them linked down below in the description as well as in a pinned comment. Oh, and another item that people mentioned, and in fact, after mentioning it, my son Ethan decided to go on Amazon and buy this before our next cruise. So this is a screen protector. So what a lot of people said is they bring an extra screen protector so that if your screen protector breaks, and I know it happens to us, then you do have an extra one that you can put on just in case. Safety pins. Now, am I the only one that does a little dollar store run once in a while for safety pins and a little mini sewing kit and just those little tiny items that if you do need them and you're on vacation are really handy. In fact, for safety pins, I do keep a few in my toiletry bag, and I keep a few even in my purse as well. And a safety pin is just what you need. Now, I don't think other people mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it because this has been over the last year a just in case item that I have almost everywhere. Now, this is actually moleskin, and what I'll do is I'll just have a small scissor like this. I'll cut some strips, and what I'll do is if I need this for like my heel, if I'm wearing shoes, or maybe over my toes, if I wear sandals for all day, then, you know, before a blister even starts, I can even take a small piece and cut it out. And even though I do bring Band-Aids, those are very handy, and I bring like blister Band-Aids as well, I've just found the moleskin to be the absolute best at prevention. Now, I feel like we're talking stationery now, so just to show you, I do also bring always a small scissor. You never know when you need it. And I will tell you, one time I brought a longer, sharp scissor, gosh, and I didn't realize it was in my toiletry bag that was in my carry-on bag as we went through the airport in Rome. And didn't I get stopped? And they asked me if I had, you know, a knife or anything. And I said no. And of course it was because I had the scissor. Anyway, they took it away. I was able to fly. It was okay, but I'm just not going to bring those sharp scissors anymore. But what a lot of people do bring, and it really is convenient, it's so little, but Post-it notes. And these are super handy because if you do want to write a note to somebody in your cabin, or if you want to write a note to your cabin steward, you can just take your sticky note, write a little note, and then you can put it right on the mirror or on the desk. And a highlighter, you know, it might be a little bit old-fashioned, but when you have that paper planner, it is really handy to highlight the different activities that you might want to do. Now, by the way, if you're planning a cruise and you want to make sure that you stay organized and don't forget a thing, I do have the LifeWell Cruised Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the LifeWell Cruised Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable printable cruise planner that you could use from the time that you book your cruise through embarkation and disembarkation. It includes cruise packing lists, cruise outfit planning forms, cruise shore excursion planning forms, budget planning forms, and more. And the best part is you could print out only the pages that you want for as many cruises as you go on. Now, I'll leave all of the information about the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner linked down below in the description of this video in case you want to check it out. Now, experienced cruisers are smart cruisers, so they always bring, or at least almost always bring, something for seasickness just in case. Most of the time it's not going to happen, but you never know. And it's funny because I always bring Bonine. It just works the best for me if I do get a little bit queasy, but I even like to have it with me because there are inevitably some people that are not going to have it, and if I have it in my purse, I will definitely pass it on if somebody does want some. The other thing is over-the-counter medication, and of course you want your prescription medication. A lot of people pointed out that they do bring a few extra days. You just never know. It's unlikely, but it could happen that due to weather or a circumstance that your ship can actually be delayed going back to port a day or two, or you never know, you can have a problem with the airline and you might need to stay in port an extra day. So having an extra couple of days of medication is always good. But the other thing is also over-the-counter medication. Now, I just love this pill box. It's available in a larger size as well. So some people like having both sizes, keeping this size, you know, in their purse or handbag, and the other larger size in their luggage. By the way, when it comes to medication, please let me know how many extra days do you bring on a cruise, or do you bring any extra days at all? Please let me know down in the comments below. Now, even though most of the items in this video are pretty small ones, I did want to share the hanging toiletry bag because so many people said this is an item that they always bring on a cruise, and honestly, always when they travel. I think it's one of the best travel essentials that I have with me. Now, this is a hanging toiletry bag. It's got 4 compartments. It really is nice and easy to organize. This is a medium size, by the way, and you can see it's not too big, and it can go right into your main luggage or your carry-on. And the other thing is packing cubes. Now, I like this set. It comes in a set of 6, and I like the fact that they are compression packing cubes, so you are able to sort of zip that up and tighten it to even compress them even more. And I will tell you a little secret that I have. I bring an extra 1 or 2 packing cubes because if on the way home I feel like I want to organize things differently, or maybe I want to take some of my dirty laundry and I want to keep it in a separate packing cube, then I have it. Anti-chafe balm. I feel like this is one of the items that people just don't talk about very much, men and women, by the way. So there are guys that bring this as well. When you are out in the hot weather and you're walking around, even in a swimsuit, this can be really, really handy, much more than you think. Now, speaking of being out in the sun, in addition to a sunscreen, many people absolutely swear by bringing aloe vera with them just in case. A scarf, a shawl, or a light cardigan. Now, this is a really nice shawl that you can wear over your shoulders, great for the evening, especially because sometimes, the air conditioning can be a little bit bothersome in the evening on a cruise ship. And if you are heading somewhere, maybe you're sightseeing this summer, you're heading to Europe, when you do go into some of the churches and religious buildings, you're definitely going to want to cover those shoulders. Now, speaking of traveling to Europe, in a recent video, I shared this fan. I think it's really a good one. I really think having a portable handheld fan for Caribbean cruises or Mediterranean cruises, whenever you're going to be in that hot weather, it can be so much more comfortable. But many people shared how instead they are using the neck fan and that this is an absolute lifesaver. All right, now let's talk about some of the items that people bring for their cabin or even for the cruise. So first, let's talk about snacks. A lot of people bring their own snacks on a cruise. And of course, it's not because there's not enough food, but things like chips, like chocolates, like candy, like gum. You're not gonna find gum on a cruise ship. Let me know if you've ever seen it, but I don't believe that they even sell it on a cruise ship. So I always do bring my own gum. The other thing that some people bring is they say, you know what, I bring a few little snacks for the crew. Some people have told me that many crew members have said that they like Doritos. Other people like to bring little chocolates. And of course, that is not an obligation at all. Small bills, ones, 10s, 20s, really handy for tips just in case. Also something that people bring on a cruise. And thank you notes. Now, these are from Amazon. They're super cute. They're specific cruise crew thank you cards, but you don't need to buy these. You can go to the dollar store and you can pick up like a little pack of greeting cards, and that's just perfect as well. Many crew members have told us that when they get a handwritten note, they genuinely appreciate it. Now, going back to food for a minute, many cruisers, maybe more than you think, bring some food items that they particularly like, not for in their cabin. So what I'm talking about is hot sauce. Yes, my son had met some friends and they brought hot sauces and spices for their cruise. And there are other people that do this as well. Some people bring flavored coffee creamers. Other people bring liquid IV or something just to make their water flavored. And of course, when it comes to liquid IV, there are the additional electrolytes. Now for a cabin, I'm not sure that anything is more popular than the travel fan. It does get stuffy in cruise cabins, and a lot of experienced cruisers say, you know what, I realize it seems like the AC just does not work at the same capacity at nighttime, and now bring a travel fan. This is my favorite one because it is flat. It is USB charged, so it's not something that has to be plugged in, and cruise lines do allow it. It's nice and small. A travel adapter. Now, many people shared that this is a little travel hack that they use. Most of the time in a cruise cabin, you're going to find the outlets that are more like you might have at home if you're in the US or in North America. And you're also going to find a European outlet, or, vice versa. If you're from the UK, you're going to find like the American style outlet. So what you can do, and what I do, is I bring an additional travel outlet. And this way I can make use of the European outlet there. And especially if I am traveling to Europe, this can be used, of course, in a hotel. And the cruise approved power cube with electric outlets and USBs. If you're going on an older cruise ship, anything older than probably even about 5 or 6 years, you are likely going to need this to be able to have additional outlets in your cabin. Now, the one thing that you do need to watch out for is on Royal Caribbean, and I think it might be Disney, they do not allow these, but I will leave a link down below in the description of the video, an alternative that you are able to use. Now, I'm not even going to take these out of the bag. Many of you, if you've seen my videos, you know about these already, but if you're new to cruising, this is super important. Magnet hooks and magnet clips Most of the time, the cabin walls in a cruise ship cabin are metal, so you could use the hooks to hang up your wet bathing suit, to hang up backpacks, to hang up a baseball cap. Now, I do have a tip for you. Make sure that you get the heavy duty magnets. Now, the ones I like these days are the ones that are 100 pounds plus, but I do have a little hack for you. If you put your magnet hook on the ceiling, it is going to hold more weight. And when it comes to the clips, these are just really great. If you have any papers that you want to keep out of the way, keep the clutter off the desk, these really work. A mini first aid kit along with your over-the-counter medication. It's a good idea to bring a mini first aid kit and to bring any of the medications. By the way, just even think about what are some of the things that you might need when you're on vacation that might not be easy to get to. So some of the things that I've started to add to my little medicine kit include hydrocortisone cream and an allergy medication. Now, some other just in case items that are really smart that I wouldn't necessarily always think about are super glue. Yes, some people said that they actually had their shoes break and that super glue worked. However, I do have a little tip for you. I have heard from some people who've said that when their shoe is broken, they've gone to guest services and they've gone to ask if there is somebody who might be able to repair it. And in a couple of cases, they have been lucky. If that has ever happened to you or anything else that you've ever had repaired on a cruise, please do let me know in the comments below. Now, the other item is duct tape, and this is really smart. If you have a suitcase that breaks or a zipper that breaks or anything like that, duct tape can be a lifesaver. Earplugs. Now, I have to admit, this is something that I really have never thought of, but many people mentioned that they do bring them on a cruise, and it does make sense. Sometimes it's really loud by the pool. Sometimes at night, you might be, in the atrium and there's a show going on, or maybe there's dancing. And while you might enjoy it, it might just be a little bit loud. And there are some really good earplugs, it seems, on the market now. A lightweight jacket, sweatshirt, poncho, and or travel umbrella. The truth is, even on a Caribbean cruise, you can have weather that just isn't that great. It can happen sometimes. It's happened to us that we've boarded in Miami. We thought it would be nice, but for some reason, it might have been a really windy day. So nowadays I always bring a sweatshirt, like just a hoodie, and Frank usually brings a light jacket just in case. And honestly, some of the time we have brought a travel umbrella as well, and we have not regretted it. Now, I almost forgot one, a dental repair kit. This is really smart because there is no dentist on board a cruise ship. And if you do need to do any minor dental repair, I'm talking about maybe you need to glue back a crown or something like that, then at least you'll have it until you can get off the cruise ship. Playing cards or a board game. Now, on a recent cruise that we did, my son and his girlfriend brought playing cards, and one night we all sat in the observation lounge and played a game. Now, I'm always learning and refining my cruise packing list, so I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your just-in-case items? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll also leave a list of the items that I mentioned in this video, as well as some of the best and most recommended cruise essentials. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now and happy cruising.